So if you guys ever see a shot and you're not sure if that's an action camera or not, these are all the tricks I'm doing. All right, guys, throughout this whole video, I'm gonna show you why I prefer using action camera, specifically the DJI Action 6 for all my vlogging needs, vlogging, video, like a video blog, like a blog, but for video. If you really want to try to get the most out of your action camera while vlogging, you're gonna wanna put NDs on here. The issue is though, if you do the 1/50th shutter to get that traditional 180 degree for the motion blur, as you guys are seeing right now, if you're doing a lot of handheld, like action running type stuff, you're gonna get some jitteriness. So I advise you guys to still, maybe do 1/90, 1/120, just to help the stabilization still. But when it's locked off like this, I would happily put it over to 1/50th and put an ND on here like I have it right now. So I'll take the ND off. And currently I have the settings set up to where even though the shutter speed is locked off to 1/60th right now, the ISO is still an auto ISO. So you guys can see outside, it's probably gonna be a little bit overexposed, but we're still getting, auto exposure, but with the locked off shutter speed. So this is the darkest ND that you get from DJI. You can see my little case right here. This is the case that I've been keeping all of my action camera stuff. Here we have 3 NDs, and I'm gonna put the lighter one on. You guys will see the exposure should just shift on its own. And now, again, we're helping the camera just to choose a lower ISO, which is really important to help control noise, but we still have our 1/60th shutter. So we're still gonna get, more filmic type motion blur. And it's gonna look like a more professional camera. This is the trick to action cameras, whether it's the DJI Action 6 or any other action camera. If you can get the motion to look like a professional camera by using your 180 degree shutter rule, it's gonna really get the look to, look way more professional. All right, so now that you guys have seen how my settings affect the real world results, let me show you inside of the camera now how it's working. We have the D-Log M 10-bit on. You guys will see in post why this is so important and why I never use normal 10-bit on any of my cameras. Now, here's the big trick here. So again, if I'm using NDs, I will lock off my aperture at 1/50th because usually I film in 24 frames per second. So the 180 degree rule, we basically just times that. So it'll be 1/48. The closest thing we have in the DJI Action 6 to 1/48 is 1/50th. Now, if you guys are running around and doing a bunch of handheld stuff, I highly recommend to speed this up to go here or maybe 1/120th, because the stabilization, when you're doing 1/50th, you're gonna get a lot of jitteriness. And this is with a lot of cameras that are using, electronic stabilization. It needs some extra data in order to work accurately. Now, even though I'm in manual mode, I still have auto ISO on. So obviously you could go and you could set your own manual ISO, but I found it easier to keep it in auto ISO because the auto exposure is pretty damn good on the Action 6. And then if I tap up here in this corner, you see we have our EV adjustment. This is gonna affect how the auto ISO works. So I highly recommend to do the negative 0.3 EV, because this is gonna, one, protect a bunch of your highlights, but also it's gonna help control some of that noise that you might get since this is a smaller sensor. So that's usually how I would do that. And this is if I'm using an ND. If I'm not using an ND, I will just keep it in auto, and you can see I'll still have my EV at negative 0.3 or negative 0.7, depending how bright we're filming. Towards the end of the video, I'm gonna go over all the post-production and how I cheat motion blur to get a cinematic look when I'm in this full auto mode here. When do you use the macro lens and when do you not use the macro lens? If I'm gonna be doing something like we're doing today, being a little rowdy, off-roading, or do some donuts, a lot of stuff going on, I will just use the Action 6 like this. And if I know if I'm gonna be vlogging, I'm just gonna make sure it's at f4, because if you set the aperture to f4, you're gonna be able to have close focus for vlogging, and it's gonna be just fine. You're gonna be able to get everything you need. And again, the whole point of me using this, say over like the Pocket 3, the Pocket 3 is even more intentional for vlogging. But if I'm doing rowdy stuff, a lot of the times I'm dropping my Pocket 3, the head might get hit and everything. So this is why I still kind of prefer the action cameras, because when it's set up like this, I will literally just throw it into a back pocket, get back to doing whatever I was doing, and then I could quickly take it back out. I don't have to worry about scratching out the lens because they're easily replaceable. So this is when I use it strictly just like this. Getting BTS is important, but it's not the most important thing for the day. Now, when do I use the macro lens? I use the macro lens when I know I am intentionally trying to vlog and get BTS and really putting effort into it. That's when I will throw on this guy. So if you're vlogging, just put it on the person. That's all you need to know. Like, this is going to be great for basically arm distance like this. Now, if you're going to be, you know, say from my thumb to the end of my pinky, that's when you want to go to the macro mode. That makes it incredibly useful, especially if you put the action camera to f4 plus the macro lens to the macro mode. You get the best close focus you could get on the market right now in an action camera. Now, there is one core downside to this, the macro lens. And that is currently, maybe they'll do a firmware, who knows. Currently, if you have the macro lens on, you cannot do the 1x1 full sensor readout. It goes to 4x3, which is still great because that's still, you know, that's on some cameras, that's technically an open gate mode. So you still get that mode. But if you want the full 1x1, you can't use the macro lens currently. I don't know if they're going to update that. I would love if they did because that would be amazing. All right, guys, this is what it looks like with the normal lens with the ND32 filter on. And right now the camera's saying it's at f2.8. I'm gonna put it to f4 and then we'll do the macro lens. And now we're still on the normal lens with the ND32, but now we're at f4. So you guys got to see the close focus should be a lot better. You guys can see my whole arms in the shot. So now that we're at f4, I can probably hold it more normal like this. Now we're on the macro lens and it's set to the portrait mode. And we're locked at f2. So you guys are going to see, some of you guys might see a stark difference. Some of you guys might not see a difference at all. What's cool about the macro lens though, it is going to help you create some type of subject separation, AKA a hair bit of bokeh, just a little bit. So again, we're set to the person mode, but I will go to the full macro mode. You can see this is going to create a little bit more background separation, purely physics. The physics is the closer you get to your subject, even with your own eyeballs, be your hand close to your face, and you'll see the background goes blurry. And then if you take your hand away from your face, the background gets more into focus. We're essentially doing the same thing on the action camera here. So again, the times I bring out the macro lens is when I know I'm going to have moments where I could take a break to talk to the camera, where I could be more intentional with the vlogging. And it's just, you're gonna get a little better use case out of this for vlogging. Sadly, the macro lens, for some reason, doesn't ship with a lens cap. Don't know why DJI did that, but I've been using it and I still put it in my pockets and stuff, and the lens has 0 scratches on it. So the coatings are probably pretty hard on the lens, but I still feel like we could use some lens protection for this. But a few weeks ago, I actually spoke to Freewell and they weren't planning on doing ND filters, but I talked them into doing ND filters for the macro lens. So once those are out, and if I had time, I'll cover those again. But that's really gonna help because then we could combine the way we're using the standard lens with the macro lens and get that more motion blur that we're not able to get on the macro lens like we are with the normal lens with the ND filters. Also, you guys are seeing the difference between the 1x1 sensor on the normal lens and the 4x3 aspect ratio for the macro lens. Now, in order to fix not having motion blur, let's go back home and let me show you guys how, one, I color grade all this footage using D-Log-M, and two, let me show you how I cheat motion blur for the times where I can't be bothered to use an ND or the 180 shutter degree roll. All right, guys, it's time to show you all the editing tricks I do to, make this DJI Action 6 to look like a bigger camera in post-production. I honestly just use my own LUT. I'll put a link down in the description if you guys want to check these out, but these are my Rambler film emulation LUTs. I have these for different cameras, but these are the ones for D-Log-M. So I'll just run through them real quick. You can see we have the 1970, 1975. Again, this is supposed to be like a gritty film type look. 1995, 2000, 2005. You can see as we go up in the era, it gets a little bit cleaner and a little bit more modern. So the 2025, this is going to be the cleanest option. And you can see there's no other nodes on this. This is literally, I just put the node on and that's all it takes. So that's one way. Now, let's say if you already have a workflow that's doing film emulation, or you just want to match it to another camera. One of the things that I use a lot for all of these smaller DJI cameras is Cinematch by Film Convert. So you can see I'm just currently using the DJI Action 5 profile. I'm sure they'll give us the Action 6 in time. You know, the image quality upgrade from the DJI Action 6 to the DJI Action 5, it's not a huge upgrade because the DJI Action 5 was already so damn good. You know, we're getting other big upgrades on this, like the first time an action camera having adjustable aperture, or the first time an action camera has a 1x1 square sensor with the largest sensor. You know, anytime you put the macro lens on or the field of view boost lens and whatever other lenses DJI might come out with, it auto detects when you put them on, so you don't have to put the modes into there. There's a million little upgrades on the Action 6 that makes it a big upgrade in my opinion. And I'm not saying that just because this is sponsored, obviously. Anyways, I'm just using the DJI Action 5 profile, and then I'm transforming that to the Arri Alexa. From here, we can just do a direct boom. Now this is the Arri Alexa 709. So say if you're trying to color match your DJI camera to your Sony camera, your Lumix camera, your Nikon camera, this is the tool that you're going to want to use to do this. Now, one last thing I want to show you guys. So first, let me go back and toss my LUT on here. We'll just do the Rambler 2025. This is Node Mill's new plugin. This is the lens node. I'm going to drag and drop this on. So this lens node plugin, this thing is going to be I'm going to say it, a game changer for a lot of us who are using action cameras and mixing it into more professional workflows. It's going to be able to mimic it to other lenses, vintage lenses, quirky lenses, character lenses, and it really just helps kind of hides that action camera look out of there. You can see a lot of cool, different, quirky lenses. Let's do the Petzl Pro. This lens, if you guys have seen this lens creates like a really swirly type, really character filled type look out of there. Yeah, you can see right off the bat, this is just going to add a little bit more character, and it just makes the image feel bigger. But let's go to the node mill here, because you'll see we have lens node and movie effects. This is the people who made this is like their in and out secret menu on here. So I've been using this a lot, Centers One. You guys can put two and two together that this is supposed to be mimicking some of the effects from film Centers that came out this year, 2025. I find this one to be semi-subtle, but still having a big impact, really just taking up the look to a whole nother level. It's just creating a bigger look out of this camera. So if you guys ever see a shot and you're not sure if that's an action camera or not, these are all the tricks I'm doing. I'm putting film emulation through my LUT. I'm using lens node on there. I'm adding motion blur onto there. From here, I would add film grain too, even if I needed to. All these little tricks, all these little plugins is how I'm creating a way larger look out of these action cameras. So in the description, I'll be sure to put a link to obviously the Action 6, all the new accessories, my film emulation LUTs for D-Log M, Cinematch, and the new lens node plugin as well. So you guys could test all this out, try it out for yourself. That's it for this video. Hope you guys learned a lot from this. This is a video I've been wanting to do for a while. So shout out to DJI for sponsoring this, so I can literally take a few days off so I can produce this video. So that's it. Peace.